This inflatable raft costs just over $300 Canadian. It is easily the most versatile fishing boat you will ever own, and you can build it yourself. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can build this yourself, save yourself the time and mistakes that I've made, and do it yourself and have a very inexpensive, versatile raft that you can fish anywhere. So let's start with the raft itself. I purchased the raft a few years ago from Cabela's, Canada. It's an Intex Mariner 4. It's just over 10 feet long. You can purchase this boat almost anywhere, and it's been around for years. I've seen YouTube videos as far back as 11 years with people modifying it. But when you buy it, it's not really meant for fishing. It's like trying to stand up in a waterbed. It doesn't have a lot of structure to it, and it has a lot of limitations. So that's why you need to watch this video, because you can learn from my mistakes, save your time, save your money, save your energy, and do it properly the first time, because I've been using this now for 6 months and it's perfect. I use it as a drift boat. I float down rivers in Michigan and Ontario, and I've come across deadfall, smashed it up against broken trees and rocks, and it holds up well for a very inexpensive raft. So that was one of my pleasant surprises from it. So ultimately what I've learned through my trials and errors is that you need to treat this like a whitewater rafting raft. There needs to be a floor on it. It needs to be a rigid floor, but it needs to be suspended from the raft. So that's why you need to build a frame and hang the floor from the frame to preserve the bottom so that it's not damaged. That's really the most important part of this build. So let's get into showing you how I did it.
Okay, I've been fishing all day, so I'm back at my camp. The raft is on the tonneau cover, which I'll explain later. That's how I transport it around. It gives me the ability to tow my DIY travel trailer on my adventures. But let's get into the construction of the raft. I'm going to show you how I constructed it, and I'll do flashbacks of the actual construction video in my garage. So first thing we'll do is we'll talk about the frame. You'll notice that the frame is covered in hockey tape. It's a Canadian build, so what could be more appropriate than using hockey tape to cover the metal frame? I'm not a welder, so I needed to build a frame that I could do using supplies from a local hardware store. So the tube is actually top rail tube from a chain link fence you can buy at any big box hardware store. The elbows, the 90-degree elbows, are EMT that actually fit inside the top rail tube. That's how I was able to make the frame. So what I did to attach them was simply drill holes through them and insert metal screws to keep them from pulling apart. To attach the crossbars that the seat is attached to, I got these clamps from Amazon. They, I believe, come under structural tubing, fittings, that sort of thing. And I simply just ordered them from Amazon, and that's how I attach the bars running across that the seat is attached to. So I should tell you that one of the first versions of the frame just had these tubes here. And it was okay until I put the pedestal riser on the seat. And then I found that when I leaned back in the seat, there was too much torque, and this back bar was bending down as I leaned back and I rode. So to fix that, I'll show you what I did. Let me just remove this. This is just a piece of 3/4 inch plywood with some EVA foam on it. It makes for a storage deck, but it also is removable. So these cross poles are an addition after the first version. So what I found was the pipe was crushing under the weight of the seat and the torque of it with the riser on it. So I put wooden dowel that fits perfectly in this pipe. So I put the wooden dowel through there, and the wooden dowel runs to back there. And then I drilled holes through the wooden dowel, so through the two pipes, and it's rock solid now. So now you have support this way and that way. And it's been on here for 5 months like this and hasn't budged at all. Very sturdy, very stable. Because I needed to run these, seems like it was a good opportunity to run another set of pipes. So I run this pipe here, and I ran that pipe there. And at the end of that, you can see how that is just a 2x4 that runs across. And those look a little thick there. I just put pipe pipe insulation and then wrapped it in the hockey tape. And that just gives added protection against the inflatable boats. You don't want to have anything really rubbing on the boat if you don't have to. The added bonus of that is it props up the outboard motor support. That's an Intex outboard motor support, but it doesn't really work all that great. But the added bonus is when you run that 2x4 there, and that 2x4 is propped up by these pipes, that doesn't budge. So now that outboard motor mount doesn't move at all. When you thrusted the outboard motor, the motor used to flex underneath, and there was nothing to hold it except the inflatable cushion. But now it doesn't move because it's propped up against that 2x4. You can attach up to a 44-pound outboard motor. I have a 2.5 horsepower Suzuki. It works just great. Pushes this thing around pretty good. This is the actual clamp that the original oars fit in, and I use that as a guideline for the distance to the frame. So if you're watching this video to actually get hard measurements, the frame across is from outside edge to outside edge is 41.5 inches across from the frame. From the back of the frame here to there is 79 inches. Big reason why I did what I did with my frame. The frame ends here. Some boats will follow the contour of the bow of the boat. But the reason I did this is because I need to deflate the boat so it fits on my tonneau cover while I tow my trailer. It doesn't stick out too much that it bumps the front of the trailer. So this you saw in the video is the trolling motor mount. I have my 100 amp battery. It sits on here. Trolling motor attaches to here. The beauty of this is it just folds up. This is just a simple plumbing bracket. That's all that is. Foam on here so it doesn't rub on the PVC. These bolts do not touch the boat. So now I can deflate the two front chambers, and then this will fit right up against the back window of my truck, and a 10.5 foot raft turns into about 8 feet, and it doesn't hit the front of my trailer while I'm towing it while it's resting on top of the tonneau cover. This was my solution for the trolling motor. This works really well. So I have a separate platform if I want to bring someone along with me. I just swap out these screws, put the new platform on here, and the other platform has a pedestal seat as well, and it's strong enough where someone can actually stand on the front and fish from. It's actually perfect, and it's amazing how versatile this very inexpensive raft can be. This is just 3/4 inch plywood, EVA foam I got from Amazon. Those are simply 2x4s up front that I painted black, and I needed something for the trolling motor to mount to. EVA foam will be your friend in this build. The floor is just 3/4 inch plywood covered with EVA foam. Spare EVA foam from that purchase I used to put underneath the frame so that it doesn't rub on the raft itself. So you can see here I have this, EVA foam, and I actually put this is like a child protection playroom sort of foam that I got from a hardware store, and then the EVA foam on top of it, and that simply follows the contour of the frame so it doesn't rub on the raft itself. Simply attached with nylon ties. They run through there so it keeps it in place. The frame is attached to the boat at 4 locations. So I got one in the front, one on that side, and there's 2 more in the back. So 4 locations holds the frame to the boat. Extra EVA foam so that the cam straps don't rub against the raft itself. These cam straps are what hold the floor above the actual raft floor. You can see the raft floor in there. This plywood floor is probably a good 4 to 6 inches above the raft floor. And that is the secret to a build that will last you. No disrespect to any other YouTubes. I appreciate anybody who's willing to put themselves out there and make creative content, but do not put plywood right on the floor of this raft. It will not last. Here, I did it and it was a disaster. And I put a lot of time and effort to make it, which I thought looked really good, until you hit rocks with your boat or you hit anything with your boat. It just doesn't give. And the only thing that is going to get damaged is the actual PVC bottom of your floor of your boat. But if you watch my videos, I also use this as a drift boat, primarily as a drift boat. And here are my oar towers. The reason these are here is because I found that I want the oars a little higher, but these are fairly simple to do. Again, underneath here is those Amazon clamps, and this is the same top tube and EVA elbow covered in duct tape just to kind of make it blend in. Obviously, it makes for a perfect fishing rod holder mounts. I use Scotty mounts there and they work great. The oars right now just slip in there when I need them. But I'm going to actually redo these and make them a little taller. I want the oars up a little bit more. I'm going to go with longer oars. So the secret to this is you need to drill through the clamp and run a screw through this top tube, because if you don't and someone pushes on this, it's just, there's no way the friction grip of the clamp is going to hold this down. So if you have a screw running through the clamp and the top tube, it'll be fairly secure, and I haven't had any problems with it. Looks a little messy with all the tape, but if you're cutting the floor, it is 80 inches, just under. So 80 inches long I found was a good length. And I believe I went with 28 inches across. You want to make sure you give yourself some room. This is pipe foam insulation that I put over the edge of the plywood to protect it again from rubbing against the raft. It's held up. This foam insulation has been here for months now, and it's got a few scratches in it, but overall it's held up pretty well. You're going to have to put an angle here. You don't want a sharp corner on your plywood, so you can see how I've cut it down so that the plywood is not touching the raft at all. You're going to need that hole there to access the inflation tube for the inflatable keel on the boat. I don't use it very often, but you should leave a hole there. It comes with a floor that I've removed the panels that come with it, and I've put in sheets of styrofoam. And my theory behind that was that, first of all, they fit perfectly, and I could cut them to the exact size. It's another layer of buoyancy if something should ever go wrong. There are 5 different chambers in this boat, which just makes it a pretty safe inflatable. It just gives it another layer of padding in case you hit a big rock and it bumps it into the plywood floor. I stand by this build. I've been using it for 6 months, and I am confident putting a video out here that if you follow this raft will last you and you will be very happy with it. If you're suspicious of my abilities as a builder, I've built my own travel trailer that I've been using for the last 4 years. Currently the most watched all-season travel trailer build on YouTube. So I think that gives me a little bit of credibility. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that this will give you an opportunity to not spend a fortune and get on the water and do some fishing and have some adventures at a very reasonable price. And you're going to save money not making the mistakes that I made. If you have any questions about the build that I haven't answered in this video, just comment. I'll get back to you. I'm pretty good about answering all the comments on my videos. If you like the video, I really appreciate if you give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe. Use this raft and my DIY travel trailer for adventures, traveling all around, all year round. Join the fun. Thanks for watching. Cheers.